Inside Racing is brought to you by Dunlop.
This sound is so often drowned out by the noise of the engine, and yet it's one of the most important. Legions of engineers run tests and analyses of the circuit to ensure that the air pressure is right. Every bit of their information is important, but why? Ultimately, air pressure determines whether you perform well and achieve good lap times, and that's what drivers always want to have.
You've got 4 contact patches from the car to the circuit, so to try and generate as much grip from those as possible.
The rubber compound is key to getting good grip, as is the size of the contact patch. The lower the air pressure, the greater the contact with the track. However, that also makes the tyre heat up faster. Within limits, a fine idea, but it mustn't be overdone.
Drivers are thinking that reducing the inflation pressure will allow them to be faster. In the meantime, if you reduce the inflation pressure, you allow the tire to deflect more vertically, and then you may create some carcass or ply failures.
The conundrum is that excessive heat and inadequate pressure make the tire literally rub itself away. That's due to flexing. This deformation goes deep into the tire, causing it to heat up far too much. Combined with the physical distortion, disaster looms. What happens first is that the tire wear increases significantly. Next, due to the increased roll resistance, fuel consumption goes up. And the third thing that happens is the tire loses its rigidity, making the vehicle's handling sluggish. Exciting pursuit races with fast, heavy cars, as in the DTM, put an enormous strain on the tires. If your air pressure is too low, you can lose sideways stability, hence the manufacturer's guidelines.
The tire maker, they recommend the tire pressure, but when you test in, you do a race distance and you see what temperature the tire is coming up. So then you adjust it so it's an optimum pressure where it's not going too high or too low.
It should also be added that the tire pressure provides almost 70% of the tire's rigidity. An air pressure range gets defined for tires and vehicle type, thus enabling the tires to work in a controlled fashion, producing grip. Extreme straight line and lateral acceleration call for tires that can be driven with low levels of air pressure. Too low or enough? Firm tire walls help to widen the air pressure range. The gas-enriched air expands as it heats up. One reason why the tires are preheated, because pressure levels can change. Everything's therefore checked, discussed and measured. Talked through, tested, sorted and resorted. All so that for the next stint, the teams have the right pressure in their tires and on their rivals.
Inside Racing was brought to you by Dunlop.